Red button means we're live. A casual take with your boy Stephen Pepper, here to give a take off my chest. So I am so happy that football is back. Are you? But you know what I'm not happy about? That my wide receiver, CeeDee Lamb, left about 10 to 15 points on the board for me last night when he woke up and decided to have his career high in drops. 4. Brutal. I don't even think he had 4 last year. But I can't be as unhappy as his quarterback, Dak Prescott, who he just completely sold of that game-winning moment last night. Dak didn't deserve to lose that game, right? Like, I thought Dak did as good as he could have, considering the circumstances. Shaky O-line, devastating drops on the road against the defending champs. Heck, he even got spat on by Jalen Carter before he even took a snap. He played great. And he gets the ball back with about 3 minutes to go, 3 timeouts to go, win that game. And listen, I know Dak is in year 10, and the only thing that matters to his legacy now is what he does in January. But that was a legacy drive for him, seriously. Like, imagine the conversation this morning. Like, what is the first takes that Stephen A. Smith of the world saying about Dakota Prescott had he won that game? Probably the first positive thing they said about him in years. But CeeDee didn't let him have that moment. It was brutal. And the lights were the brightest. One of the highest paid wide receivers in the game's hands turned into butterfingers. Robbed Dak of that moment. I felt so bad for Dak. But to me, I hope people went to bed last night seeing what I've been seeing in Dak for years, and is that he's a top 10 quarterback in this league. Seriously, he is. Now, I know some people have a hard time. I've seen the list. People have a hard time admitting that Dak is a top 10 quarterback because he has 2 playoff wins. And I know they didn't end that great. Right, he had some losses in there to Jimmy G, a blowout loss at home as the 2-seeded Jordan Love, who was commanding the youngest team in the history of the playoffs. But people forget, Dak, his last 3 healthy seasons, 12-5, 12-5, 12-5. He was second in MVP in his most recent healthy season. Is that not good? Second team All-Pro in 23. My friend says before the game, we were texting about like our love for Dak. Dak only really gets hate because the star in the helmet. He's a Cowboys quarterback. The expectations that come with it. Because if Dak would have because what Dak has done, if that was Jared Goff or Baker Mayfield, more people would appreciate that and rank Dak highly like they do with Goff and Mayfield. And I think Dak is in that tier. In fact, the leader of that tier. And, he got paid last season, but couldn't play most of it because of a hamstring injury. And he came back last night off a hammy, and I thought he looked in shape. Mobile, confident, in command, aggressive, comfortable. To me, he looked like the better quarterback last night. You could say what you want about Jalen Hurts' stats being better. If Ferguson came down with that bobbled touchdown, if CeeDee would have had 3 out of those 4 drops, he would have finished the game with 200-plus passing yards, a touchdown, and possibly the win at Philadelphia, the defending champs. I get it's a regular season game, but it would have been one of the biggest moments of Dak's career. And CeeDee Lamb, like Colin Cowherd said last night, it was so funny, was CeeDee lame. That was lame to rob Dak of that moment. But if there's one thing, despite the loss, that you can take away positively for Dallas, is that their offense is good, right? Because coming this season, there was so much hoopla around this team that are they going to be able to compete? I think Cowherd said they were going to win like 3-4 games max, right? They traded a future Hall of Famer, Micah Parsons, a week before the season. Dak's coming off his hamstring. They bring in Brian Schottenheimer, really, at head coach. We don't know who their running back is. So there's just a lot of questions of can Dallas compete. But I thought last night, given how their offense looked, given how Dak looked, Javonte Williams, they're going to compete. I'm not going to say they're a playoff lock, but they're going to compete until the very end of the season. And that's because of their offense. But their offense is always good with Dak. People need to remember those last 3 healthy seasons, I think they were number 1 in 21, 7 in 22, but at least top 10 in 22 and 23. That's with Dak under the center. So listen, you can blame some of those playoff losses on Dak, but what you can't do is blame Dak for last night. I thought CeeDee Lamb, I went back and looked at all those drops from Ferguson and Lamb. Dak was playing a hell of a game. There were some great tight windows, thrown balls that Dak was just looking like the best quarterback on the field. He was playing like a top 10 quarterback, but his team just couldn't come up with the balls, and they sold Dak of his winning moment. And I just wish Dak, I was rooting for Dak because That would have been one of the biggest moments of his career. He did not deserve to lose that game. And I'm excited really to see what Dak looks like for the rest of the season. But I appreciate everyone for tuning in to this episode of A Casual Take. Follow me on Twitter at StephenPepper38. And until next time, see you.